I started like most of you back in the day. I took a 2-day certification course to become a lash artist. And then I went home and started gluing all my friends' eyes shut because I really had no idea
Like
what
we
I
all
was
did.
doing. But I was certified. It's like, so now that kind of came about years later. As a lash artist, I was just really frustrated with lack of regulations, lack of information. I really wanted to know I was doing everything correctly for my clients, for their safety, for health and hygiene, but I just couldn't find any information. I then found some forums and I started reaching out to people in the beauty industry that weren't necessarily doing lashes. Maybe they do waxing or even a hairstylist, and started interviewing a lot of people actually all around the world, trying to find out what do they do? Why are those regulations implemented in their industry? Just learning as much as I can to be self-taught and make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm not going to pass on pink eye to anybody, or I'm not going to do anything unsafe. Also, I was kind of in the beginning, like I was one of the very lucky people to get into the lash industry when it had just hit Edmonton. So my books filled up really fast. Not because I was good, but because everybody in the city wanted lash extensions. So my books were full. I hired somebody else, paid for her to get her certificate. She, of course, wasn't very well trained either. So then I passed on all my knowledge to her. Everything kind of started to snowball. Eventually I had 5 staff members, but I had learned to stop paying for them to get a certificate because it was redundant. They would come back to the studio and me and my girls would mentor them through what we had learned ourselves in the studio. So eventually, like a lot of academies, that's how I became inspired to write a manual and start training, because I was training my own staff and it was going really well and everybody was doing good, clean, safe work and our clients were happy. So from lash artist to lash educator, I kept waiting for somebody to create an association for us, you know, as these years are going by, and I'm like, when are we going to be represented?
Mm-hmm.
When will somebody give us the proper guidelines? And it was actually in a conversation with one of my business coaches. And she said to me, you know, Levi, everybody talks about their passion. Passion, passion, passion. She's like, I'm so tired of hearing the word passion. I want to know what pisses you off. I was like, wow.
Interesting. So she went at it the other way.
Totally. And then being in this unregulated industry, I had a lot of things that were pissing me off. I'm like, no regulations, poor lash hygiene happening, a lot of horror stories in the news, poor education, just lack of guidance. I went on, and she just looked at me and said, that's your next business, go fix it. And of course I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna wait for someone else to do that. Because of course, like, who am I to do that? There are definitely more qualified people, people with more experience, people with more intelligence. And it took me about a year to build up the courage to just say, okay, no one else is doing it. I'm going to put on my big girl panties. I'm going to create a board of advisors and just launch it and listen to the people and see what they need from us. Let's just make this happen. So I sold my business. I closed my academy. And I've been in it wholeheartedly since January 2016.